Welcome back to CBS Mornings. The United Nations says 3 million Ukrainians have now fled their country since the start of this Russian invasion. You know, it's day 20. The majority of those refugees have crossed into Poland, many through a checkpoint near the city of Medyka. CBS Evening News anchor and managing editor, that's Norah O'Donnell, is reporting from near the Polish border with Ukraine. Norah, good morning to you. I watched your pieces last night. It's the thing with the children that gets to everybody every time.
Gayle, you know, as a mother and as a grandmother, I mean, it's hard to travel with children. Imagine traveling for days with no food and with water. I mean, it's just been tough to talk to many of these mothers and kids. And you know, as this war escalates, the more Ukrainians are leaving their homes in search of safety. And there's people all over the world that are coming here to this country to try and help those millions that are fleeing the war.
Every day, they come by the thousands, women and children bringing whatever they can carry out of the war zone. Alona and Katya traveled from hard-hit Kharkiv with their 3 young children, going hundreds of miles without food to settle in a country they barely know. At the border, volunteers serving hot meals line the path, waiting for the cold and hungry. Volunteers like Cami, who came from Chicago with United 6.
The whole world is watching right now, trying to figure out what it is that we can do. These people really need a lot more support and just acknowledgement of, like, we're here for you, we support you, and we stand with you.
They're feeding people like Masha and her 5-year-old son, Benjamin.
How are you doing?
We go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Her husband is back in Sumy, one of the cities under assault by Russian forces.
I'm sorry.
And as the war rips families apart, Ukrainians are bringing whatever family they can, and helpers are waiting for them too.
About how many pets do you think you've treated here?
Oh, 500-600 the last
600 pets.
Did last week, I think.
And what are you treating them for?
Yeah, the hypothermia.
The pets are freezing cold.
The pets are freezing cold.
At the border, families stop to rest and recover before moving on to the next refugee center. They can grab diapers and shoes or toys for the little ones. We found this Polish soldier helping Yulia, holding her child in his arms, lightening her load, if only for a little while. But amid the kindness, there are those trying to take advantage of the vulnerable.
It's very obvious from the attempt. It's old guys trying to pick young girls, so you can assume it's
Old guys trying to get young girls.
Yeah.
Mohammed Rafat is with the United Nations Organization for Migration. He says they're increasingly concerned about trafficking of Ukrainian women.
Have there been arrests for human trafficking?
Yes.
Here?
Yes.
You know, and as if the refugees didn't have enough to worry about their safety, officials at the border were telling us they're trying to protect women and girls. They say do not get into cars offering rides and make sure you get on those official buses that will bring them to safety. Tony, Gayle, and Vlad.
Yeah, we started hearing about that last week, Tony, when you were talking about attacks on women. Yeah. And you're so right, Nora, that's the last thing you need to worry about during this particular time. There's always somebody who will take advantage of a terrible situation. But earlier in this newscast, we just talked about the Polish Prime Minister and diplomats from Czech and Slovenia that are going to Kyiv today. That is quite a show of solidarity. Can you tell us what that means?
Yeah, I mean, you said it. It is an enormous show of solidarity. Those 3 prime ministers heading into a war zone, heading into Kyiv. Just think about on the day, as Charlie Daggett had just reported earlier in the broadcast, that they're experiencing some of the most heavy bombing of this entire conflict. Europe is trying to send the signal. Once again, they are united. They stand with President Zelensky and the Ukrainian people. And of course, Gayle, this comes just before the president of Ukraine is going to address Congress. You know, that's going to be extraordinary. And once again, pleading for help from the world to stop this war. Gayle?
Yeah, and Nora, there is so much need. I mean, sometimes the best answer is no answer at all. The interview you had with a woman where all you say is, how are you doing? And she starts crying. That's one that's going to stay with me. Thank you very much for your coverage.